Hello and welcome to the It Can Happen to Anyone podcast. Um, I'm really excited to do this episode with someone I've known for well over a decade, I think now. But yeah, I'm really excited, and I won't share your name. I'll let you do that yourself. So yeah, would you be happy to introduce yourself with your name and your favorite animal?
Yes. Well, thank you for inviting me, Nikki. It's lovely to spend time with you, as it always is. I'm Sue Baker, and I've worked in mental health advocacy and anti stigma work in England and around the world. My favourite animal is a sheep. Yeah, I really would love to rescue a sheep from a sheep or a lamb or whatever from slaughter.
Yeah,
Being vegetarian from a very young age, but I think maybe because I grew up in the West Country
yeah.
and I was born in Singapore, and there, from what I've been told, there weren't sheep there,
Hmm.
so maybe I missed out on them in my first 5 years of life. But I just love them. I've got a load of my daughter's made me a load of little sheep out of like pom
Oh.
poms and clay, and they're sitting there on the unit behind me. So I do get a lot of sheep things for birthdays and Christmas and things like that. Mother's Day.
Nice. Oh, that's really cool. Thank you. So I guess I know you and I've heard a bit about your journey from various talks and stuff that I've heard you do, but for anyone that doesn't know you, would you be comfortable sharing a bit about either your personal or professional journey?
Yeah, sure. Professionally, I studied advertising and marketing, sort of business studies, and I think I was expected to sell fast cars and chocolate bars and probably things we don't really need in life. And I kept thinking, this is not what I want to do. I want to do something positive in society with any skills that we might be learning. And straight away, I knew I wanted to work in the voluntary sector.
Hmm.
And quite soon into our studies in Bristol at university, one of my best friends was very ill with severe mental health problems. And she later became incredibly ill. My dad had stress related depression from a stressful job, and he wasn't treated very well by his employer. And before that, at sixth form, my best friend experienced a lot of depression, and she wasn't treated particularly nicely by other people. They ostracised her and didn't really bother to understand her or get to know her. So it was around my life. And we'll come on to this, I think, with some later questions. And I didn't quite, and I'm not sure I saw the world in quite the same way as everybody else. I didn't quite feel that I really fit in, really, I guess. So there was something there driving me. And then when I left, as we were finishing our studies, I knew I wanted to work for Mind. I knew I wanted to do something about what I call the grave social injustice, which is mental health stigma and discrimination, as we might talk about it now. I didn't have the language for that. I didn't know what concept that was. I just knew that if something was happening with your mind, with your mental health, people treated you badly. And I was like, well, that's not right. And then my first significant relationship with anyone, and she happened to be a woman, uh, she was very, very mentally unwell, as it turned out. And, her parents and I were involved in multiple crisis interventions. And I saw how badly her mental health problems were misunderstood, and how she was treated by her employer and other people. So that was it. I was already on that journey, and I wanted to get into the voluntary sector in order to make my way to Mind, the charity I did know that were fighting for the rights of people with mental health problems. And that was before I had my own experiences of three significant sort of mental health breakdowns, I guess. So yes, it's something I always wanted to do. Um, and then I moved to London to work for big charities, hoping to get into Mind. That happened when how old was I then? I must have been just under 30, I think. And then, yes, I've been working in this field for about 30 years now.
Mm.
And I'm very incredibly lucky to have been able to do that. Yeah, and personally, I'm married. I have a 9-year-old daughter that my wife gave birth to. We live in Whitstable. We moved out of London after 20 years to kind of look after our well-being, including mental health and de-stressing with a very big, busy job. It felt the right thing to do to have a bit of headspace at the weekends and commuting during the week. But gosh, I couldn't do that now. And we were hoping to have a child, but that was a very long wait, to like an 8-year wait. But it was the right choice. She's thriving in life. She talks about mental health, in as children talk about it more, and thank goodness they do. Yeah, so that was definitely the right choice. So we live in North Kent in Whitstable. It's way east of London, like an hour out of East London. Countryside on one side and the seaside on the other. So very, very lucky. Found my place in the world, should we say.
Oh, thank you. That was so like I don't know how to express like how that made me feel. Like it's nice to get to know you more, and like it's nice to hear like as you say, you found your place in the world, and that's really lovely. That's really nice. Like
I don't think I've ever
um,
expressed it like that. Yeah, it feels like everything's sort of landed, and career was doing well. Then I met Alex. I'd had a big breakup and my first breakdown. I still wasn't mentally recovered or emotionally recovered. And then I met this bouncing blonde in her early 20s when I wasn't quite ready. And we all knew I wasn't. And I was offered a job in New Zealand. So I left all my support network and everybody I knew and it was just so fortuitous. I was offered a job to leave Mind and do similar things, but obviously totally different context, and work on different projects that were way further ahead in terms of mental health and well-being and anti-discrimination, anti-stigma work. And they were so much further ahead. So I had the great honour of working there for 2 years, and Alex came with me, and that was over 20 years ago now. So yeah, things sort of have slotted. It's taken a while, but things have slotted into place. Yeah, I've never thought about it like that. I definitely have. I feel happy with my place in the world and the people I have. I'm very lucky.
oh, that's lovely. I'm so glad to hear that. Yeah, that's really nice to hear. Oh. Yeah, so I guess one thing I wanted to ask is leading on from that, like, and obviously you've done a lot of like mental health work and like anti-stigma work, like in the UK and globally, and I just wondered, like, what is one thing you wish everyone knew about mental health, regardless of where they are in the world? Like,
I remember saying this a lot and saying this when we were working on the Lancet Commission review, like, it is just part of being human.
mm,
It's as simple as that. You
yeah,
know, we're human and we have mental health
yeah,
on a spectrum.
yeah,
So, we're not robots. Um,
hmm
we're not AI generated chatbots. We are human beings and we have thoughts and feelings, and uh, our whole persona is a mashup of physical and mental health. It's just
yeah,
to divorce mental health from other aspects of health and who you are as a physical person and a psychological emotional person, just that's what a stupid thing to do. I would say,
yeah,
what a stupid thing to do, to take what's above the shoulders away from what's below. What a stupid thing to do. So yeah, I
mm,
wish everybody just thought, well, it's just part of being human. There'll be ups, there'll be
yeah,
downs, there might be crisis. um, you might be flourishing, and wherever on that spectrum,
mm,
it's just being human. And
yeah,
animals have feelings too, and mental health, I'm
yeah,
sure. But it's just part of being alive and human.
yeah. Yeah, I love that. That is so true. Because, like, that's one thing that's actually really helped me in my recovery, like, is remembering, like, my humanness. Because, like, for a long time, I thought I was, like, this alien, weird creature, not the same as everyone else. But then just holding on to the fact and just kind of sitting with myself and be like, I am human. It's okay. I am human. It's okay. That's really helped me. So, like, just hearing you say that is, like, really reassuring as well. So, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, there's many other things to add to that list, but I mean, I think that's the first thing I would say, just to make people realise, it's a
Yeah.
regular part of being alive, isn't it?
Yeah. Definitely. What does good mental health mean to you?
Ooh, oh, that's a tricky one, Nikki.
Yes, it is.
I'm trying not to phrase it in a kind of um, the sort of frame of reference being, at least it's not negative. I'm trying to not put it in
Yeah.
sort of negative, like an absence of something. But I think good mental health is about being able to embrace and enjoy the life I'm living,
Mm.
and being here and being present with the people that I love very much, that I'm very lucky to have, that I'm with. Because when I'm not very mentally well, I know I'm not present. I suffer with very acute anxiety at times. I'm managing that. Sometimes it feels quite mild, and then I just live on the cliff edge. So I've had to learn to live with sort of cliff edge anxiety, that it's constantly there, and I take medication to manage it. So I know the difference when I'm on it and when I'm not, and when I'm embracing it and addressing it and when I'm not. And yeah, I'm definitely not present when I'm not very well, and I'm not embracing life and seeing the joy and the
Mm.
positive things in life. I tend to kind of can get like the negative blinkers on and see things through negative lenses. So
Yeah.
so positive is obviously very different. It's
Yeah.
embracing it. It's being able to enjoy the little things. That's what I
Yeah.
enjoy the most, um, with my family, and sometimes on my own or with friends. And yeah, I'm being calmer and a bit more present.
Mm. I
Just being
like
able to, yeah, being able to
that.
be here in
That.
the moment.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah. I kind of sometimes I get really excited about what I'm gonna say, and then I just go and like say, and then someone else is talking, then I'm like, oh. Anyway, um,
Don't sound like me.
but what I was gonna say is it reminds me of this kind of quote. I think I'll ask you about your favorite quote later, or lyrical poem, but or song or whatever, film, movie, TV show, whatever you want to share. But one thing it reminded me of what you were just saying is that the goal isn't to feel happy all the time. The goal is to feel everything, because what hopefully what joy is to be alive sometimes, and it's just like that's the goal anyway. That's my aspiration, and that's what it kind of means to me. It's like to feel everything, and just like it's like you're put on in my mind. It's like I'm put on this earth and I just want to experience as much as I can with as many emotions as possible, hopefully some joy ones along the way, and just see how it goes. I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's too. I think there's. I think you can pressurize yourself, and we can pressurize each other as societies, can't we? To think, you're always going to be, getting the best out of life, or embrace, or seeing joy in everything. And I think that can feel pressurized when you're having a dip, or when
Yeah,
you're struggling. It's like, well, don't make yourself feel worse because you're not feeling like that. Just think, okay, well, this is one part of the equation, isn't it?
yeah,
Um, and I definitely appreciate the smaller things more, and everyday things, having not felt those for significant periods of time.
mm,
And at times, don't want to be too triggering, but at times not seeing any joy in life and not really wanting to be here. So I think when you've gone that low and there's no joy in your life, and you can't really see, you know, you're not at all embracing life, to then enjoy, like, I'm just sat here with the sun on my face, sat at my
yeah,
desk, and I'm like, oh my gosh, the sun's on my face, and I can
yeah,
see a tree in front of me. And that does mean being present. And I really don't know all the theories, but and that works for me, being out in nature, or looking at my daughter's face, or playing a game with her, or
Mm.
going for a pint with my partner and a packet of crisps. Those things are
Yeah.
things that give me joy. Like, seeing friends, seeing family. Um, I don't know, doing a bit of gardening, or
Yeah.
something like that. Listening to the birds singing. They're just those things.
Yeah.
And they ground me as well. They totally ground me, and I think, yep, this is what it's about.
Mm.
No big gestures, not having, don't need banks full of money. I mean, of course, you
Mm.
need to eat and not, keep
Yeah.
warm and be able to afford the basics, which I know many people, particularly at the moment, can't. So I don't take that for
Mm.
granted either. That we've got those things, we're secure in that sense. And many people are struggling with that every hour of every day. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think I don't ever really. I try not to take things for granted either.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of learning in life. It's taken a long time to get to
Yeah.
a place of peace, I think.
Yeah. I do think we're all lifelong learners, really, aren't we? Like
Mm.
I think we're always learning, like every day. I hope anyway, because I'm a firm believer that you can learn something from everyone,
Yeah.
and there's always something to learn. Like I don't think anyone's ever mastered life.
Don't think
I don't
anyone
think that's
has.
the thing. No, I think everyone's always learning. Hopefully, I think at least everyone should be open to learning. Yeah.
Yes, I think it's that, isn't it? It's funny, isn't it? Because I don't think I have many of the answers. I only know what I've been through, and I think, gosh, I'm responsible for bringing up a little soul.
Mm.
And but I don't ever think, I think when you have therapy, you can sort of you look with more of a critical lens. I think at your own childhood, or what your parents instilled in you, rather than thinking, it was all done well, which most of it was, I think. But then you start to think, oh well, my grandmother, she had it sussed. I really looked up to her.
Mm.
I really respected her. She did a lot of good in society. So did my mum and dad. And then you think, well, maybe they didn't have it all sussed, even though I always thought they did. Because
Mm.
as I get to like nearing 60, I'm like, well, I've got some things sussed, but I haven't got everything. So I don't imagine
Mm.
life is about having everything sussed either.
Mm.
And there's
It's true.
always new challenges and things, like you said, you're always learning, aren't you?
Yeah. And that brings me on to my next
Ah,
question, which is, what's one thing you wish you could have learned in school that would have helped you in life?
oh, yes. It's almost like if you could talk to yourself sat at your school desk.
Mm.
Um, I'm not quite sure how to articulate it, so it might be a slightly long-winded version.
That's okay.
Uh, that it's really important to be okay with who you genuinely are.
Mm.
Um, I was struggling to identify. I was like, oh, I feel a bit of a freak, or I don't really fit in. I was a bit different to my brothers. I wouldn't have known I was gay, but I was attracted to girls, from secondary school onwards, and I was ashamed of that. So much stigma around that. I had a slightly different way of looking at the world. I knew the world wasn't as, I had more thoughts in my head and more aware of troubles and thinking about things that were wrong in the world. I just thought I felt different
Mm.
and very out of place. Still had really nice friends, but I just didn't feel like I fitted in really. I loved David Bowie. Duran Duran, all of that, but I liked like Marilyn, David Bowie, the independent characters
Mm.
that were very much who they were and striking out, and not sort of through the
Mm.
production line. Um, yeah, it took a long time to find this piece of being who I am. That took a long time, and I wish I could just have, put a hand on my shoulder and said, "It's going to be okay. You will be happy with who you are. Just trust that. You might not be happy now with who you are, but you'll get there." I thought, oh my god, that could have saved like 50 years of struggling.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, so I think, all this awful pushback against diversity and
Mm,
neurodiversity and inclusion and, equality and everything else. It's just like, just let people be.
yeah.
Um, and it, God, I remember we had one lesson at secondary school where they said, look, there's a football pitch.
Mm,
And at one end are people that are 100% straight. At the other end are people that are 100% homosexual, I think they would have said at the time. And in the middle, everybody sort of like moves up and down. And I think we were all like, wow, imagine that. That was the only conversation I ever had at school. And university, I don't think there was an LGBT or gay or whatever group. Maybe there was, but it was very small and underground. There
mm,
wasn't any of that at school, at university. Certainly wasn't talked about at work. We had to wear
mm.
skirts to work. We weren't allowed to wear trousers. We were sent home. We were to, so things have changed definitely for the better. Thank
Yeah,
goodness. Um, but yeah, but it was hard to find your place, and it's taken quite a while.
yeah.
Yeah, I would have
I
loved
really
that.
like.
Yeah.
Sorry, I did it again.
That's all right,
Sorry.
Nikki. Go.
No, um, yeah, I was just gonna say I really like what you said about like just kind of putting your hands on your kind of inner child's shoulder and being like, it's gonna be okay, sort of thing. I wish I could do that for myself as well, but I kind of believe we all have like this inner child sort of thing inside of us anyway, and it's like kind of can do that still. That's my
Yeah.
belief. And I kind of do that with myself, like little Nikki and stuff. I'm like, you're
Oh,
gonna be okay. I do that. I still do that. Like it's just
oh, that's
it just
lovely.
helps. Sometimes little Nikki is hurting, and that's when she wants to lash out or whatever, and I'm just like, no, it's okay. We're okay. And it's
Yeah,
that's what
brilliant.
helps me even now. So yeah, that's what
Yeah.
it makes me.
So yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's interesting, isn't it? And it's interesting how you feel about that. Like, the pressure to conform,
Mm,
obviously, still very much around, isn't it?
yeah,
Discrimination on multiple aspects of life and demographics.
yeah,
The peer pressure
yeah,
of it. I mean, even more so with social media, I think. Oh, gosh, anyway,
yeah,
that's another conversation.
yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, my next question is what's an issue closer to your heart? Actually, wait, I've got a better question. Hang on. Okay. If your younger self could see you now, what do you think they'd say?
Oh, oh, I don't
Sorry.
know. What would
You
they
don't have to
say?
answer anything you're not comfortable with, just to let you know.
Yeah, I don't know what I'd say. Um, well, certainly when I was much younger, wouldn't have thought I could be gay,
Mm,
I could have a child, I could be married, and be open about all of that and
mm,
be myself. And that's the theme
yeah.
running through, isn't it? You know, absolutely, absolutely wouldn't have thought of all of that. No. So I think probably my younger self would go, "Wow, how did
Yeah.
that happen?"
Yeah.
But yeah, no, and that's not me. That's a lot of campaigning and advocacy work from a huge amount of very passionate, talented movements and people
Hmm.
that I've benefited from in my lifetime, and many of my friends have. And it's not to say that prejudice isn't still out there and is different in different contexts and countries. But yeah, no, I think just like God, I can't believe it. You
Yeah.
can do all of that and be yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. I think everyone should be free to be who they are. Everyone, no matter where you are in the world, no matter where you come from, no matter what color your skin is, no matter what anything. I think everyone, I really wish the world would just accept people for who they are, like, and just be like, it's okay if you're LGBTQIA, or it's okay if you're neurodiverse, or whatever sort of difference, because that's the beauty of life, that we're all different, and that's what
Individuals, yeah.
makes life amazing, really, is that
Yeah.
you know two people are exactly the same, and that is just brilliant in my eyes. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Entirely.
Yeah. Um, what is one thing that could happen to anyone? And then I'll wrap up because I know it's been quite heavy, but yeah.
No, that's okay. Um, well, we used to talk about this when we were designing a certain stage of the Time to Change campaign,
Hmm.
the social marketing campaign, and we had this kind of journey that people would go on. So we
Mm.
mapped out this kind of awareness and behaviour change journey. So first of all, people weren't aware that there was stigma and discrimination related to mental health, so they knew it related to other issues like disability, race, gender, sexuality. They didn't know it about that those of us with mental health problems could face discrimination and stigma
Mm.
and the impact of those. So we had to sort of get it on the radar,
Mm.
and then the audience were like, "Oh, okay, there's an issue here that we didn't know about. What's that got to do with me? You know,
Mm.
I don't behave like that." So we had to sort of do a whole a different second stage of creative journey, which is sort of letting people see a bit like light bulb moments, seeing,
Yeah.
oh, that's what they're talking about, and then the stigma. So that,
Mm.
oh yes, I do some of that. So without ever pointing the finger.
Mm.
And then we had to role model the little things, it was called, that stage of the campaign, and the it's okay to talk about it. All of that stuff happened. But I remember
Mm.
one of the insights that came. So we went into a year of research and qualitative focus groups with all kinds of people and people with lived experience and potential target audiences. And the reason that we chose the middle age range, and I remember this, a couple of things came out, but one of them was that usually when you're younger, and there's nothing wrong with this, it's nice to have a period of life where you're, I think probably my generation, less aware that stuff happens. But before stuff really starts to happen, you're kind of usually more naive. And I don't think young people are anymore. But and when we did the research, which was probably a good 20 years ago, and it was like, well, young people, excuse my French, are less aware that shit happens in life.
Mm.
So until they sort of got to that stage, or until they started to become parents,
Mm.
we thought the campaign would be less relevant to them. That's absolutely not the case now, because how many young people are struggling with mental health problems and waiting for support and treatment. So there was this sort of phrase about, well, until you're aware that shit happens in life, you don't think it's going to happen to you, and perhaps you're not
Mm.
aware it might happen to other people. So one thing I think I wish people knew was that shit happens in life. Like, we started the conversation saying it's part of being human.
Yeah.
And if you think, well, look, SHIT, excuse my French, does happen in life, and so be prepared and don't
Yeah.
be ashamed. And as I said earlier, it's part of being human. It's just part of who we are and what's going to get thrown at us, or what we might create ourselves, or what somebody else might do to us. And so,
Mm.
we've got to find ways to get through life with things that will challenge us. No
Yeah.
one has an easy ride all the way through. So I wish that, people knew that, yes, we're going to have ups and downs and stuff will get thrown at us, whether, in one or many aspects of our life. But if we know not to be ashamed of it, if we know how to spot the signs and reach out, or to know when you're not quite yourself, which used to be a very old phrase, are you feeling yourself,
Mm.
and not worry about seeking help and hopefully then getting it in a timely fashion, then I think, everybody would think, yes, it is just part of life. And
Mm.
challenges will happen. And if we're more prepared, that's
Yeah.
better. I mean, I wasn't. God, it was terrible. I'd worked for Mind for years and years and years as head of media. It was my first job.
Mm.
When there was a big pushback against care in the community. It was horrific headlines, horrific political debate,
Mm.
just really, really terrible negative coverage of mental health time and time again. No one with lived experience trusting the media to speak out, totally understand, fair enough, who would want, and everybody keeping quiet and silent, understandably.
Mm.
So we had to find a way through that. And that was when I first did work on stigma. But I remember I did thousands of media interviews and lots of speeches, but loads of interviews as head of media, working with a brilliant chief exec and director of policy at the time. We were pushing back and pushing back and pushing back on this terrible narrative,
Mm.
and we did a lot around wanting more choice of treatment. So not, you know, 10 minutes with the doctor and walking out with a prescription, but having a choice. So,
Mm.
and we had a campaign called My Choice, so it was about having a range, whereas it was counselling, therapy, ecotherapy, social prescribing, not just medication.
Yeah.
And we ran a big campaign. So we weren't anti-medication, but we were anti about it being the automatic first port of call for people.
Yeah.
And that was before my act came in, and
Mm.
rolling out CBT and everything. So it was way, way ahead of that movement. And then I got very, very severely depressed, and coupled with that terrible bedfellow of depression, which is often acute anxiety. So that's my first breakdown. And things happened in life. My father was nearly dying, and we didn't know why. And my partner had ended our relationship, and I was heartbroken. Anyway, life had pretty much fallen apart for me. But I wouldn't take the medication. I think
Mm.
because of all the advocacy work I've been doing. And I wish I had taken the medication, because I think I needed something to help me get over that period of time.
Mm.
And then I had therapy as well, and then that turned into counselling, and eventually recovered. But it's like I was lucky that I hadn't gone through anything like that until that stage of my life. But when I had, oh my gosh, I've done so many thousands of interviews. It's going to happen to all of us. Are going to go through it at some stage of life. 1 in 4 of us is going to struggle. But for me, because of my self stigma, it must have been to think, oh, oh God, it's happening to me. And
Yeah.
I didn't. I pushed back at taking medication. Eventually take it, and thankfully that helped. And I was seeing a counsellor. I was having counselling in a crisis, but I wasn't that literate. I could talk the talk, but I didn't apply it to my own life. But when my life started to fall apart, I wish I felt more at ease just doing something about it. I think I felt I had to be strong. I think I felt it wasn't going to happen to me. Why on earth I thought it wasn't going to happen to me? But I mean, that's why I think the messaging about we're all going to go through it,
Mm.
otherwise you are a robot, is
Mm.
really important. And for people to not feel, I was judging myself, which is a stupid thing to do, especially in the role I was in. But yeah, so yeah, I wish more people just, I wish we all just accepted it's just part of life. And just
Yeah.
like with anything else, you might need to take something or speak to someone or do something different, change bits of your
Mm.
life. There's no different to when your physical health is struggling for whatever reason, is it?
It's
Yeah.
true. And one thing I wanted to say to you quickly before we move on is I don't think it's necessarily. Wait, hear me out before I finish this though. I don't think it's necessarily stupid to judge yourself, because I think that's also part of being human. Because I think a lot of us judge ourselves. Like, I don't know about. I mean, I've done a lot of media work as well, and I thought, well, no, I'll never go back to hospital, and I'll never like. I'm fully recovered from this condition and that condition, and I'll never have an issue with it again. And then I did, and then I was like, shit. And then even though I can happily go on TV and say for everyone else, like, don't be ashamed if you have a personality disorder, don't be ashamed if you hear voices. But then when it does happen to me, I'm like, oh my God, this is awful. Everyone's gonna hate me and all these. So I think,
Oh God, you're harsh on yourself, aren't you?
yeah, but I do think it's also, to an extent, from the people I've spoken to about this, self stigma when it comes to mental health is quite common, and that's also part of the journey. I think what it has been for me anyway. I don't know for everyone else, but for me, like, I've been really harsh on myself, and learning to say, hey, it's okay. Like, you're still human. It's okay. And that is
Yeah.
what I'd like to kind of end with, is that what I'm taking away from today is that the humanness of it all is that it's fundamentally human to struggle, and that it doesn't make you weak, it doesn't make you a freak. That rhymes, that was great. And and it doesn't make you anything weird, it makes you even more human when you struggle with your mental health, physical health, emotional health, whatever it may be. And it's okay to talk. It's okay to say, like, look, like you said, like you was head of media, and at a national like mental health charity, and it can still happen. And I've been like, when I was a teenager, I did all those like talks and stuff, and like as you know, like I did all that stuff, and then I hit my early 20s, and then bam, I was in hospital again. And it's like, it's just okay to be human, basically. That's what I'm taking away. So I'm quite curious to hear if there's anything in particular you're taking away from today as well.
No, apart from Nikki, you're always an inspiration, and I think your insight and your openness is always. I mean, from the minute that I met you, I do want to mention one thing that we were
Mhm.
talking about before recording, and
Yeah.
it's so nice to reconnect with you this year in particular. I mean, you're
Mm.
never off my radar, but you don't always have the
Yeah.
opportunity to do things together. Was you were just seeing how committed and passionate and this inner strength that you probably don't give yourself credit for, and how brave, you were brave, you were courageous was a better word than brave.
Mm.
When in Time to Change, when we were working very closely with the media as one of
Mm.
our key projects, and we went to meet the Daily Mirror was signing up as a one of the thousands of employers that we worked with, so the media were pledging as employers as well. So we went
Mm.
to see the editor of the Mirror at the time, and he brought in all the editors of the regional daily papers, and
Yeah.
we wanted a lived experience Time to Change champion to come with us, with me, mine's head of media, obviously a couple of people after me. So I was running Time to Change, and we went in, the three of us, I think, with you, side
Mm.
by side, and you then told your story in front of all of these editors. And I'll never forget the complete respect and silence. It was just seismic. It's
Mm.
like you just sort of driven this sort of wedge through their consciousness. They were like,
Yeah.
oh my God, you just brought stigma and discrimination to life, and how hideous that was for you as a young schoolgirl, and
Mm.
how badly you were treated by, your friends' mum and dads not letting you go to birthday parties and thinking that you were going to do something awful because you were
Mm.
hearing voices. I mean, it epitomised everything. I mean, that has stayed with me all over 10 years now, isn't it, Nikki? And
Mm.
you totally, you, and that's what we find all over the world. It's not the stats we put in front, it's not the logical argument, it's not the evidence base, it's hearing from somebody with lived experience,
Mm.
like you and like I, to say, this is what it does to people.
Yeah.
And they go, oh, God. You were amazing. And you were so. I couldn't believe, you know, how incredibly committed you were to do that. You totally put yourself on the line. And it was,
Yeah.
massive respect to you, and always thankful to you for that. It was very powerful. And that must have taken a lot. And you're very inspiring. I wish we could have recorded that and then we could play it to people around the world. But,
Yeah.
I do tell the story whenever I
Yeah.
can. Yeah, you are amazing. So thank you for all that you do. And
Thank
yeah,
you.
we need more people like you all over the
I think
place.
we need more people like you as well.
Should we just try and replicate ourselves?
Yeah, we should. That'd be cool.
But it's always lovely talking. I wish we had more time. Well, hopefully we'll do more work together.
Yeah.
Job's not
Yeah.
anything but done, is it, on stigma in the UK
Mm.
or global regions? There's so much more work to do.
Definitely. I just want to say, overall, thank you so much for like doing this with me, like this podcast episode. Like, it's been really refreshing, and it's one of the most honest conversations I've had in a while. And it's just so like nice to remind myself and of like the humanness of me and the humanness of other people too. Sometimes I think everyone else has got it all figured out, but then I realize actually no one's got it figured out. It's okay, we're all human. But yeah, one thing just to completely finish, what's one thing you're looking forward to?
Oh, right. Okay. Personally, this is very trivial,
Hmm.
uh, but I don't think I've ever been your average director, really. I've always heart on sleeve. This is who I am. Hopefully, kind of person. So yeah, not work wise, but personally, it's my daughter's ninth birthday. It was yesterday,
Oh.
um, and we're doing something which I've wanted to do since I was very young, and it's
Hmm.
somewhere in Margate, like an escape room. So it's not like a scary lock-in where you have to do things. But the thing for her age group, which I'm so excited that parents get to supervise, so it means I get to play as well. We're going to play supermarket sweep in an
Oh,
escape
nice.
room. Hopefully a trolley. And
Yeah.
she have bits. I was like, oh my god, I always wanted to play supermarket sweep. It used to be on TV when I was a teenager.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
so yeah, just something trivial and fun, and
Yeah.
it's all those parts of life, and being able to be here, be present, and enjoy it feels, you know, I feel very lucky. Um, and to do supermarket sweep with my daughter and
Yeah.
my wife and my daughter's friends. So I'm looking forward to a little bit of fun. So that'll be nice.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice. Well,
like
I
to
hope
have
you
more
enjoy
space
that.
for stuff like that. What are you up to this weekend? What are you looking
This
forward to?
weekend, oh, I'm going to Wales to see my friend. I'm really excited about that. So that should be fun because I'm going to see the beach and stuff. So that'll be
Oh,
really cool.
whereabouts in Wales are you going?
Swansea, I think. Yeah,
Yes.
Swansea. Yeah,
Oh,
Swansea. Yeah, it'll be good.
oh, lovely. Oh my God, have an
Yes.
amazing time. Oh, that's very
Thank
exciting.
you.
Have a brilliant time. And
Thank
lovely
you.
to talk to you.
Yes, you too. Thank you.
Catch up
And
with you soon.
thank you.
Take
Bye.
care of your lovely self.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.